So tell me, are you ready for cup of cheer? I'm very ready and very excited, so let's do it. Hey everyone, Cristin here, and it is time to do cup of cheer. I haven't had sugar in 18 days, and I'm having a cup of hot cocoa for you. Isn't that nice of me? It's really good. So we have a lot to go over today. This is our first official video for Cup of Cheer because it is time to get started. Let me move my hot cocoa out of the way so I don't get it on my fabric. So lots to go over. So Cup of Cheer, real quick, supplies. You are going to need the Cup of Cheer booklet, and in the booklet has the CD that has all the designs on it. That is the first thing. Second thing is the fabric kit. My box is up there. I already cut up all my fabric, but you can see the Cup of Cheer box up there. I seem to hoard my Kimberbell boxes for some reason. I don't know why. Do you do that too? Anyway, so I've already cut up all my fabric. Hopefully you have too. And if not, that's totally okay. You can do it as you go. That's fine. Either way. If you did already cut it up, then you may have purchased these packets. That makes it just really simple to have everything handy. So like when I'm going to start on a day, I grab my packet and I'm ready to go. So that makes it really easy. So there is a link under this video for the packets and the box. So this box that I have, I bought at Target a billion years ago, and I'm sure they don't have those anymore, but I found one on Amazon that is the same size, and so that will work for you. So I added a link for that as well. So fabric kit, the embellishment kit. So I didn't keep that either. They're all in my packets. And you don't have to do that. So one thing is that if you decide to organize all of your fabrics, I did them by page number. I showed this in the Cristin Creates group. I put a page number on the front of each of my packets, and just makes it easy to know where to look in the booklet. But you probably won't need your booklet too much. I am going to go through this step by step for you. We're going to do it together because it's more fun together. If you did do your packets and break everything up, you don't have to do all the Advent stuff now. You absolutely can. I initially was not going to, and then I had to order more of the packets. And so since I had a bunch more, I went ahead and I did all the Advent pieces too. So that's completely optional. So I made one for each bit. So each of those Advent pieces, like the dimensional tags and the Advent candy cane, the Advent snowman, the Advent stockings, all of that. And then I've got my backing kit. You absolutely need to have your backing kit. That does not come in the fabric kit. So the book with the CD, the fabric kit, the embellishment kit, and then the optional thread kit. So the thread kit, it just makes it really easy, really, really easy. You don't have to sit there and pull out all your fabrics, pull out all your threads and figure out what matches. Everything in this kit is going to match. So there are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 embroidery threads in here, and usually you add in white and black. It's usually not included in the fabric kit, and so really you would just need this. You'd be all set. And then the other thing that you are going to want is stabilizer. So for the stabilizer, I use the Kimberbell Fusible Backing on the back of all of my fabrics. I did it on all of them. Some people choose to do it just on the back of the main fabric, the one that's going to be embroidered on. That's totally fine. I prefer to do it on my applique pieces as well. I do it on everything. I like things stabilized. I find that when you cut, when you trim your fabrics, they don't get all frayed and messy if you've got them stabilized. And then you're not going to get puckering. So do what works for you. I put fusible backing on all of my fabrics. And then for the light mesh cutaway, this is what we will use in our hoop in almost every scenario. And when we don't, I will let you know. But light mesh stabilizer, this works great. I use it all the time. The other thing is Project Batting. I'm not doing very good advertising of Project Batting because I'm almost out. If you haven't cut up your batting yet, I did add information in the Cristin Creates group of an entire guide of what size batting for each block. And I bought a brand new roll of batting, and this is what I have left. And I started with a little bit extra from my previous roll. So you will use a full roll of Project Batting for this project. You can see I have almost nothing left over right now, so I need to get more. So those are mainly the 3 stabilizers. There will be little things here and there that we will use, and I will give you information on that. So I want to talk to you about hoops, and what we're going to do is we're going to go over what we are going to work on today. So the very first project for today is going to be on page 13, mug 1. That is the one that I've chosen for the first one. So it's up to you. You can go through your booklet and do them as they are in the booklet. I've chosen to mix them up just to keep it interesting, to work on different things as a group. So our first one is mug 1, and I can see on my packet that it's on page 13. So when we go over this, I will give you all of the information. In fact, let's go ahead and jump into that now. So we are going to do page 13, mug 1. So you would grab your packet if you've already cut them, and if not, that's totally fine because I'm going to go over each of them anyway, so it doesn't matter. So let's go ahead and go over what we need. So notice I even have my little, the dots in there. So I've added all of my embellishments as well. So for this first one, we are going to start with our main fabric, and our main fabric is this really pretty, I love this one, the diagonal stripes. All right, so all of the Christmassy diagonal stripes, and this one we are going to start with this at 8.5 by 8.5, and really it's important to back this. It is a big piece of fabric. You want this stabilized so you don't get puckering. So 8.5 by 8.5 with fusible backing on the back of it. All right, to keep that stabilized. And then we have one applique piece, and it is this gray with white dots. And this one we start with at 5 by 5. And again, I did back it with fusible stabilizer. This part is optional. You don't have to stabilize this if you don't want to. I find it a lot easier to trim, like I mentioned, and it just really helps to not get puckering. And it's just cleaner to me. It's like, I don't know what the word is. It's going to hold together well. You're not going to get puckering. You're not going to get problems. So that's what I do. So 5 by 5 on this second piece. This is the applique piece. And then since we are going to quilt in the hoop, we always use batting. And we will go over the the process for quilting in the hoop. We will go over it step by step. But for now, you do need a piece of batting. So the way that I figure out batting on each of these, so our quilting design for this, I base it off of the final cut size. So the final cut size on this is 6.5 by 6.5. I do a 1/2 inch larger for my batting. So from 6.5 by 6.5 for the quilting design, that means we want a piece of batting that is 7 by 7. So 7 by 7 for your batting will work great. It can be larger than that. It doesn't matter. You just want it large enough that it's going to grab on the tack down. That's the only purpose to it, because we're going to trim it anyway. You'll see. We'll go over that whole process. So 7 by 7 for your batting. And then we have these dots. So it's the smaller ones. If you look in your embellishment pack, there is larger ones and smaller ones. I don't recall exactly the size. I want to say like 1/2 inch, and the others are 3/4. Let me see. 1/2 inch. Good. I was right. All right. So there are the rough ones, three of the rough ones that have the rough part you can see, and then there's the loop side, the softer side. So if I recall, we're only going to use the rough side. This one we're not going to use in this project. It's just an extra. So this is the only part that we're going to need, and we'll go over this when we get there. Don't worry. But you want to make sure to have these three, what are they called? The rough parts, whatever the rough parts are called. I don't remember, but anyway. So then it also says we need fabric glue. I didn't see that. So fabric glue, we'll go over that when we get there. So let's start with the hoop process. Okay, so we are going to use a 6x6, it's really called 6x6. So we're going to use the Cup 1 quilting design by Kimberbell. That's the one I'm going to use. That's the one for the official one. It's got little mugs. Like, how cute is that for our quilting for this mug design? Oh my gosh, that's so good. And by the way, it's like 98 degrees outside and I'm drinking hot cocoa because it's cup of cheer, right? So anyway, so we want a 6x6 quilting design. You can use any 6x6 quilting design. I am going to use Cup 1. It is in the quilting bundle. So I went over this in one of our previous, like the prep video for Cup of Cheer. The quilting designs are from Kimberbell. You use our sponsor's affiliate link to get to Kimberbell, and then it gives a little kickback to our sponsor to help offset all of the costs of the items that they need to purchase from Kimberbell. So it's great if you can do that. There is a link under our video always of our sponsor's affiliate link, and then you would just type in Cup of Cheer in the search bar, and then you download the quilting designs that you choose. You can purchase individual ones, you can purchase a couple of them, you can purchase the whole bundle. That's what I did. The bundle will give you all of the designs that we're going to use for this entire quilt. So all of this quilt will have lots of quilting designs. So like I said, we're going to use Cup 1 and we're going to use it in 6x6. So if you're new, I know we have a lot of newbies using this as their first Kimberbell quilt. So that's super exciting. If you're new, you would probably think, hey, 6x6 quilting design, I can use my 6x6 hoop. Right? You cannot use your 6x6 hoop. Well, what about a 6x10 hoop? Can you use a 6x10 hoop for your 6x6 quilting design? Nope, you cannot. All right, so I just want to make sure that you guys understand that. And at the beginning of every single tutorial that we're going to do, I will show a picture of what, and a little wording saying what hoop I'm using. All right, so you won't have to worry about it. It will be in every single tutorial. But for a 6x6 quilting design, you need to have either an 8x8 hoop. That's what I'm going to use, my 8x8 hoop, or an 8x12 hoop will work, or look at this, an 8x8 magnetic hoop. Thank you, Dory, for this. I am excited to give it a try. So you need a larger hoop. And if your biggest hoop is a 5x7, we'll go over that. All right, I will have specific information on how to make it work using a 5x7 hoop, but your quilting design is 6x6. And what that really means is it's actually 6.5 by 6.5, because there are 5 steps to the quilting. The first one is the placement stitch for the batting, and then the second one is the tack down stitch for the batting. The third one is the placement stitch for the main fabric, and that one is 6.5 inches, 6.5 by 6.5. That's what makes it larger. So steps 3 and 4 is the tack down of that main fabric. So when you're tacking down your main fabric, instead of it being 6x6, it's going 6.5 by 6.5. And that is what makes it too large to fit in a 6x6 or a 6x10 hoop. And then the fifth step in the quilting design is the actual quilting. So when it is the 6x6 quilting design, it's 6.5, and you need an 8x8 hoop or an 8x12 hoop. And again, if your only hoop is your 5x7, we will go over how to do that. And if your largest hoop is a 6x10, we'll show you how to do that too. That's actually really easy. Both of them are really easy and very doable, and we will go over both parts of that, however it's going to work for you. There are a lot of blocks in this quilt that the actual design is 5x7. It will fit in a 5x7 hoop, but it's the quilting that makes it a little bit bigger. And if you're quilting in the hoop, then you want to be able to make that fit in your hoop, and you can. It is absolutely doable and actually easier than you think, and we will go over that. So for everyone else that has the bigger hoops, you're all set. Grab your 8x8 hoop and we are going to use cup 1 in 6x6 quilting. So let's see, there are 4 of the 1/2-inch loops. We need 3 here. Okay, just remember that you need 3 of the little loops. All right, and let's go ahead and get started. We'll go over more in just a minute. Okay, so I drank all my hot cocoa. It was good. So I wanted to also point out that if you fall behind, don't worry. There will be catch-up days. There will be plenty of time. We're going to do this at a very comfortable pace. And if you do fall back, don't worry, because it takes me time to do the tutorials anyway. So you're going to be fine. I promise you will be able to catch up. I know that there's some people that are still on vacation and working their way back and haven't prepped. Whatever, you will have time. Don't stress over it. Okay, so we're gonna get started. Are you ready? Are you excited? I am. So real quick on the quilting. So we are going to use the 6x6 quilting design for this mug 1 that we are working on. And it is the cup 1 quilting design that I'm going to use. Like I said, you can use any quilting design that is 6x6. So one thing I want to point out for any newbies, we are going to do the quilting and then we will do the embroidered block on top of that. It's actually an applique block. But you can merge them together in 3 different ways. So what I am going to do, just because it's the easiest for most people to understand, is I will show on my machine that I have my my quilting design, and then I am going to click the add button and add in the mug design, and that will merge them together. So I'm going to do that on my machine just because it's the quickest and easiest to understand, but you could do it in software, in embroidery software. It's super easy to merge, and then you know that everything is merged just right and everything doesn't have to be moved because they go to the center. It should do that on your machine as well, but you always want to check and make sure. The third option is to do the entire quilting design and then load the embroidery design after that and stitch all of that. So either of those 3 ways will work just fine. The outcome will be exactly the same, but you have some options on how to do it. So let's get started. I'm very excited. Can you tell? everyone, so let's talk basting stitches for just a second. So some people choose not to take out the basting stitches. I always do take them out. It takes like 30 seconds, but there's another reason. So some people choose to use the basting stitch as a cut line. And the negative with that is that when you do your quilting and your embroidery, all of those stitches are pulling your fabric in just a little bit. And if you use that as your cut line, your box, the block, may not actually be the size that you need it to be. So for instance, our block that we are just about done with, so this started at 8.5 by 8.5. We're going to cut it down to 6.5 by 6.5. And the basting stitches, which I've already taken out, but the basting stitches, if you were to leave that in and use that as your cut line, it may not be 6.5 by 6.5 again. You should definitely measure it and see if it is. If you are stabilizing your fabric really, really well and using batting, it probably won't be as much of an extreme pull-in. All right, it should be okay, maybe, but check. Don't just use your basting stitch as your cut line if you want to make sure that your blocks are going to fit together correctly when you're putting your blocks together for your quilt. So that's my little tidbit of information. You do you. This is your quilt. You do it your way. But I just want to give that information that that's the reason that Kimberbell doesn't recommend using it as a cut line, because it could be off. It could be off a little bit. So taking out the basting stitches literally takes about 30 seconds. The hardest part is that little knock down, tie down, I don't know what you call it, but the first stitch, that first stitch is quite a knot, and that is hard to get out, or at least it used to be. I figured out that, oh my gosh, the quickest, easiest thing, if you hold it, let me get in a position where you can see me hopefully, if you hold it in a way that it just has that part, just that little stitch, and then you take your seam ripper and look at this. Woohoo, so easy. Just don't rip your fabric. Make sure that you're getting the stabilizer instead. And then look, it just comes right out. So easy, super easy to do. And that's the only difficult, and it's not really difficult, but that's the only part about taking out the basting stitches that's difficult, is that that first little tie down. And it comes right out, super easy. So then the other nice thing is that when you do take out your basting stitches, you can trim your excess stabilizer, just the excess. You're not going to take away the stabilizer that's in the block, but what you are going to do is you're going to trim the stabilizer back to the batting line. All right, so all the way back here, and that includes that 1/4 inch seam allowance. So you're going all the way to here, you're trimming this back, and it makes it so that that's not in your seams. And it's really just batting that you need to worry about. You don't want batting in your seams. This part is thin. It's not going to make a big difference. But what I find is it gets in the way when I'm sewing the blocks together. So if you take out your basting stitches, then you can trim your excess stabilizer all the way back to the batting, to the stitch line, basically. All right, so that's my little tip. Okay, now let's talk about cutting your block, finishing it off. So this block, they always start bigger. This started at 8.5 by 8.5, and we are going to finish it to 6.5 by 6.5. We are going to cut it using the orange pop rollers and a rotary cutter. Grab that. Okay, so here's my big tip. Everyone that's been in the group for a while knows that I do this. I always turn my block right side down so that I can see the seam allowance. All right, I can easily see that. You can do it however works for you, but that's what works for me. So if you have a cutting mat, that makes it easier. I do it both ways. But you are going to use your square orange pop roller that says on it 6.5 by 6.5, finish size 6 by 6. And I center it, and I take my time here and get it just right so that I can see that I have a 1/4 inch seam allowance on each edge. You worked hard on your block, so don't finish it off too quickly. You want to make sure that you're getting it the right cut. All right, once you have it where you can see a 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way around, you are going to start on the left if you are right-handed. Left side, right-handed, all right? And you're going to start in the channel down at the bottom, and you're going to push your rotary cutter against the edge and take your time. Easy peasy. Looks like it's time for me to change my blade. All right, and that's how to use the orange pop roller so easily, and you get your 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way around. Beautiful. Our first block with cup of cheer is done. So in the directions it says you need fabric glue. I'm not sure why, because these are sticky. So I don't know, use fabric glue if you want. I didn't use fabric glue. So a couple people I saw posting in the Kimberbell group that some people had issues with their needle breaking or having trouble with these dots. Mine worked great. So the one thing that I did, and I put a note on there for you guys to slow down your machine. I slowed mine down to the slowest setting and no issues, none. It worked super great, super easily, no problem whatsoever. So let me know if it works as well for you. Hopefully it does. And I can't wait to see yours. So did you do it? Did you get your first block done? Do you know what the last step is? The last step is to share your block in the Cristin Creates group. Share a photo. Let me know that you've done it. You're ready to move on. And let me know how you did. If you have any questions, let us know. The group is super helpful. Lots of people that are happy to help. So anyway, show us your block. And I want to say a quick thank you to our sponsor for this project. For Cup of Cheer, our sponsor is My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop, and they did such a great job getting all of our orders out quickly for us and having enough supplies for us. So don't forget that you can get your stabilizers from our sponsor. Anything that you can do to help support our sponsor is appreciated. And a couple little things. So later, not yet, but we will need wash away stabilizer. So if you haven't already purchased that, make sure to get some because we will need some later. Also the wash away topping, embroidery topping. I haven't purchased that yet, but we will need that. And the other thing is that we're going to make this little pouch, the little zipper pouch, and you can use your own fabrics if you choose, or you can get one of those Kimberbell blanks. It's like already ready for you. It's opened up and all you do is sew it closed after you embroider on it. I'm going to do that. So that will be part of my tutorial. So you're going to want one of those if you're going to do it that way with me. That's fine. I think it comes in pink and gray, and I don't remember all the colors. I think I got the gray one. So anyways, a couple things coming up, and whenever possible, order from our sponsor. And thank you again to My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop. Do you remember when I said that we were going to start this project, we were each going to have a goal? Don't forget to let me know what your goal is, how you're doing with it. If it's to get more exercise, to get out walking, to eat healthier, whatever it is, clean up your craft room, have more time with your family, whatever it is, I want to know what your goal is, and I'd love to see photos too. Hey everyone, so I wanted to show you real quick how to find the information that is under every video. So if you were to open up a web browser and go to YouTube, type in Cristin Creates, and you will have the Cristin Creates channel here. If you go to any of the videos that are for the project you're looking at, so like right now it is the cup of cheer is what we're working on. You could look through here and you'll see that there's a cup of cheer video, here's a cup of cheer video, or you can go to playlist right here, and from there you can see that there is a playlist for each project that we've done. So here's the cup of cheer playlist. You click view full playlist and you can see all of the videos that we've done so far for this project. So click on any of those and then you can see, so here's the video. I'm going to just wait till it skips. There we go. Skip the ads. So here's me talking about the Cup of Cheer project, and right below the video, right here, it says Kimberbell Cup of Cheer Quilt Prepping and Cutting Fabrics Group Project. And then it starts to say, click here to see links below the video. And then it says, click here to see more. It's a little bit different on mine because I'm the owner of the page. But right here, you'll see the topic and then click here to see links below the video. So click that see more right there and see all of this information that is right under the video. So when I say under the video, that's what I'm talking about, is you have to click that, click here to see links below the video. And then once you do that, everything under this video is information. So for instance, here's how to join the Cristin Creates group. Here is a link to the products from our sponsor. So My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop is our sponsor for Cup of Cheer, and all of the supplies that are needed are listed right here. The thread colors are listed, and all of this information is under every single video that I do. And then you can also see the link that I'll talk about on every video. I will say, this is the quilting design that I'm using. You get it from Kimberbell. Please click our sponsor's affiliate link. That's this right here. To order the Cup of Cheer quilting designs, please use the affiliate link from our sponsor. And then you just click that, and what it does is it takes you to Kimberbell, but there's a little cookie on your computer saying that you're supporting our sponsor, My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop. So once you are here, then you would go to this search bar and type in Cup of Cheer. That's the easiest way. There's other ways you can go through products and all of that, but the quickest way that I have found is if you just type in the project you're looking for, then the items you're looking for will come up. So here is the Cup of Cheer quilting bundle, currently on sale from $75 down to $66. So you would click that and add it to your cart, or you can find the individual ones. Another way to do it, after you click on the sponsored link, you would go to products and then background quilting, and then you can see all of them that way as well. Either way works fine, but that's how to find the links under the video. And like I said, our sponsor is My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop. So I have one link right here that has all of the supplies, and you can click on that to see if you haven't ordered your supplies yet. That's the way to do it, is under the video. There's always a link for all of the supplies, and you can see them here. All right, so that's the under the video information. There's the video, and it's literally on every single video. And then there's also information of what's coming up next. Don't forget our coupon code is in here. Where's that? Right here. This project is sponsored by My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop. Our coupon code to order is Cristin COC. COC is in caps, and that gets you $10 off the fabric kit. And then after the supply list, there's information on what's coming up next up, and then just more information. So everything that I talk about during the video, there's always information under the video, and that's how to get to that. Very easy. And if you're on a phone, it's the same thing. You would go to YouTube, go to Cristin Creates, click on one of the videos, click, and then instead of, I don't think it says click here to see more, instead it's got a little arrow over on the right hand side on your phone. It'll say the title of the project, like Kimberbell Cup of Cheer Quilt, like what it says here, and then over on the side there's an arrow. You click that arrow and it shows that whole video description. That's what this is under the video. I hope that helps.